Hello and welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Jolanda and I'm from the east of the Netherlands. This is my little corner on the internet where I speak about my knitting, sometimes some yarn dyeing. I love spinning, crochet, all the crafty things. And of course, my cats join me here today. So if you're new here, then welcome. I hope you find something inspirational. I hope you enjoy watching what I am making. And if you're returning, then thank you so very much because many of you have been here since the beginning, and that is a lot of years. I forgot to check, but definitely, I forgot to check, but definitely many, many, many years. I think 6 years, definitely. So let's start as usual what I'm wearing. So the last time this was a finished object, but it was still a secret because it was a test knit. By now, the pattern is released and it is the variation cowl number 2 by Tif Meiland. So this is a perfect project for leftovers because they only use small bits and yeah, well, she's very happy I'm here. So this uses perfect for leftovers, and yes, it is a very basic construction. Let me show it to you. So this is the construction. I'm sure this is not something original or new. This is quite a basic construction. I used drops flora. I had some leftovers from my from two sweaters I made out of cone yarn, and I had some an odd ball of yarn with a little bit of glitter in there. So I used it all up, and there was a seam that was exposed on the outside. So that was, yeah, very nice, very soft. It turned out a bit bigger, mine, because my gauge was off, and that's all right because I'm a very tall woman. So no problem for me. Well, there comes the next object and also the next problem. Because as I explained last time, I changed the neckline, I frogged it all and I pulled it up so it became better, but it is still not a perfect fit. And I wore it a day and it so annoyed me because it feels constricted. I don't know, why is she biting me? How's it up? And it just doesn't feel comfortable. It's too tight in the shoulders or whatever is the problem. I think that is the problem. I don't know. I think it's too tight just around here. That's probably the widest part. I don't know. So I just thought I'd put it on so you can see that I actually did finish it again. And I've been thinking about it a lot. Is it an option to frog it? I don't think it is an option to frog it. It is all almost all three colors in one row. I don't have any more of this yarn. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 20 grams. I know there were a million ends to weave in. So I'm still thinking of the only option. I'm thinking of an option of sticking it and making it into a cardigan. That will definitely give me a few centimeters, and that might be just enough. And the cardigan, of course, you can wear open. A sweater you can't. I am bummed about it because I really like how it looks. I really love the colors, the white ribbing and all. There's also something else I was thinking about, and maybe I want to steam it, and maybe I can get a little bit extra room. But if I feel it here, I don't know. I really doubt it. I think my color work is just a bit too tight, especially in this place. I don't know. So maybe sticking is an option, and that's definitely an option because do it with a sewing machine, and that is not a problem at all. So this is the Hydrangea sweater by Eleanor Mortensen. Beautiful designer. She designs stunning color work. And yeah, this is just an issue I have. I have not seen anybody else with the same problem, so I assume it's just a me thing. So I try to put everything I talk about down in the description below. There is, I'm not sure if there are all going to be links. I try to write everything down, put my project page. You can find everything there, the Ravelry project page, and everything else is easy probably to find if you have the name and the designer. I will see, because I told you before I have to do everything on my phone, and that is quite a thing to copy and paste. Yeah, I mean, with a computer you can just use multiple pages open, and it is more difficult on the phone, but doesn't even matter. Whatever. Rambling about. I have more finished objects, and that is, let me see, this one I showed you last time. It's the Moonflower by Knitting for Breakfast. It's still in a testing phase, but I finished it and I already wore it and it sits perfectly. So this one has enough room in the shoulders apparently, and maybe it might also be a looser gauge. Who knows? A stretchier yarn. It might all help in making it a better fit for my wide shoulders. So it is all over colourwork. Even the sleeves is full colourwork. It might not be noticeable so well because there is a lighter color, but I'm sure you can see it. So this is still in testing phase. As I said, the short rows are done in the neck ribbing, which was an interesting thing. It fits very well. I'm sure I put already a little clip in for you here to see. It is made out of drops Noord, and there is only one yarn, and it's the drops Flora, and that is the brown one. I already have now the brown in the drops Noord, but I like this color more than the drops Noord brown version, and that is called chestnut, and that is this. This is definitely a different shade of brown, as you can see. Yeah. So yeah, a wonderful, wonderful pattern. I'm very happy with it. It's super soft, the drops Noord. It pills very little. Let me think. Yes, I knitted this on 3.5mm needles. Drops Noord is also often used as sock yarn because it has nylon, but it also has alpaca and wool. So yeah, it's absolutely my favorite combination. I really, really love that. So that is the Moonflower. Will be released this month if everything goes as planned, and it probably will. So that was a test knit. Let me check. I am in a test knitting phase at the moment, and that happens. I have another finished object. Wait, let me have a look. Where did it go? Here it is. So this is the Cosmic Top by the designer is called Jie, and her name is Red JK Designs. And this is a really, really beautiful, beautiful design. I absolutely love it. I love the fit. I make this out of very pale pink, and it is the Drops Bell, which is a summer yarn. But so far I wore it over a shirt, over a long sleeve shirt, because I don't think I have the shape and the arms to wear just as this is, but that is just a personal thing. Um, It was a quick knit, and I love the lace pattern. It's wonderful. I had a little bit of trouble getting it set up, but it's top down. So you have partial lace on the sides, which is not the real problem if you put in markers. But I'm a left-handed knitter, and I have to reverse things. And if I do that late at night, it's not a smart thing. So I was very confused about what to do, but it's just a little bit of logical thinking, because left-handed knitters knit from left to right, and you all the right-handed knitters knit from right to left. So charts you have to read the other way around, and some things you have to. I still haven't figured it out, because now I had a test knit with cables, and I thought, all right, I go from the other side, so I have to twist the cables the other way around, and then I knitted this far, and I looked at the pattern. I was like, it looks like my cables are wrong twisted. So I had to do it again after so many years of knitting. I still haven't figured it out, but I mean, if you do stockinette stitch, there's no problem at all. But if you want to do anything more than basic, then yeah, that is things you encounter. You have to figure it out. There's YouTube, thankfully, these days. There's a lot of things you can find on YouTube if you have tubular bind-offs and cast on. It's all mirrored. Very confusing for the brain, but I really like to figure it out anyway. So it worked, and it's lovely, and it uses 300 grams of the drops bell. Drops bell is an cotton, polyamide, and linen yarn. Yeah, I'm really looking forward with it. Wearing this, it has a very high split. I made it a little bit longer because I have a real long torso. But yeah, I really like it. I didn't have any vest or slipovers or whatever you want to call it. And I think this is a really, really beautiful addition to that. So yeah, it has a wonderful fit, perfect fit actually. And I'm really, really happy with it. So that is the Cosmic Top. It is still in testing phase, so also not available yet. I'm sorry for that. And then I have talked about all the finished objects, which is quite a lot, but then again we had the flu here and everybody is better now, and now I think I got it. But I always have it a little bit different because of my health issues. The flu is not the flu, it's always a weird thing that's going on. All right, my oldest work in progress is probably the EU yoke number 2, and it is already an it was a mystery yoke along. It is already finished long ago. I finished the body. I did not pick up the sleeves. It is on hold right now because I have many other things going on over the deadline, of course, because test knits do that. And yeah, well, what can I say? Nothing more. It is absolutely stunning. It is a fantastic color work. I used a color changing yarn, and a main color is the dried plaster from Host Garn. So the sleeves also have a little bit of color work, and the rest is like the body, plain knitting. We used the leatherback jacquard technique, which you can obviously see because that is there, and I'm not so happy with that. But it was a new technique. We learned many new things. There was the Latvian braid, a few of them, which was wonderful. We had slip stitch with only one color in a row. This is the normal. Is it in? No, it's not intarsia. It's just well, it's just colorwork knitting. So yeah, absolutely wonderful, beautiful project. So it will be on hold for the time being. Excuse me. Because apparently I want to start all the new things, and a good thing to do that is joining test knits, and then you have a deadline, and you have to keep knitting. You can't put it aside, and yeah, you're the first to have the new patterns and try out new things. I think it's wonderful. You're usually in a group with other testers, and that makes it fun and inspirational, and we can discuss difficulties or whatever. Yes, I did another test knit. That one is already finished. The project did not have to be finished because it was a scarf. It was a big scarf. Scarf? Yeah, a scarf. Also a wonderful project if you're looking for projects for leftovers. This is a great one. It is the quilt scarf. Oh my word. The designer is Famke van der Wal, and she is also known as Mipi the label. I wonder why it's not here. I thought I wrote everything down. Well, I'm sure you can find it down in the description. So I have a lot of Drops Charisma. A lot. Some of it I even over dyed and made a dress out of it. Let me grab my basket of beautiful yarn. This here I made a dress out, and these are all single balls, single leftover skeins, little things. And I thought it would be perfect for that scarf. She originally used Drops Daisy, but I really don't want to buy anything. I have plenty of yarn. For my birthday, which was March 7th, I got an balls of Drops Nord because I was running low, and I really like that for all kinds of projects. So I got that, but I try not to buy anything for myself. I still have a lot, and I dye yarn, and I have over dyed yarn that was not the right shade, and so on. So if I'm applying for a test knit, I am thinking in my mind, do I have the yarn for it? Oh, my cat is going crazy now. Do I have the yarn for it? Is there something I can over dye or add, or what all, huh? So I thought I had it in my mind because in the past I made some quilts, and I always thought it was so beautiful. I have a plain background of white or cream or whatever, and then all the colors will pop out so nicely. So this is called the quilty scarf or anything, something like that. Oh, I remember I wrote it down in my phone. So there are different charts, and they are all separated by the checkerboard. Checkerboard is actually white with pink, and the rest is off-white. So there is a difference, even though on pictures it doesn't really show up. But so the checkerboard is the same all over, and then you choose which chart you like. And this is such a fun project. So I made the centers here in a different color, even though the chart had it as one color, which is also an option. And yes, also the same with this, made it more like a flower. 40 centimeter circular needle. My gauge was off, so my scarf became a little bit smaller, but I think this is still a very good size for a scarf, right? So she said if you want to wrap it around at least once and have a nice length, you have to make it as tall as you are. So I'm 180, so I will go to 2 meters, and then I will definitely have a very cozy, warm scarf. I absolutely love this. This is such a fun project. We unfortunately had only a very short time to test out, but I definitely did more than needed. But I wish I could have finished it because now it is just laying here. But that's fine. I will definitely work on this again. But there is no rush at the moment, and the weather is getting warmer, so I'm not really in need of a warm scarf. But this is knitted in the round, so it is double layered, and this is also all stranded, so it is really warm and squishy, and yeah, thick. Wonderful pattern by Famke van der Wal, and it is quilty. I can put it up for you here so you can look it up if you want to. Wonderful pattern. I just love pulling out all the colors, and as soon as I finish a color and it is gone, I knitted it all up. It just gives me a good feeling, you know. It's like, oh, that's out of my stash. I finished up that. I really don't like to throw things away. If there are things I think I'm not gonna knit or gonna use anytime, then I will definitely put it aside and donate it to charity cause, because there are many people who are knitting for charity and are always looking for leftovers and full skeins of yarn, of course, also. All right, we're still not here. I have a test knit for Anna Johanna, which was very a very pleasant thing for me. I've never test knitted for her before, and she is a very great designer. She also goes under the name We Once Knitted. I'm sure you all know who I'm talking about. She wrote many books. I have a book of her. I have a few patterns of her, but I never started any of them. So my son is in desperate need of sweaters. I am not. Even a friend of mine, a niece, said, "Oh, where do you store all those sweaters? Do you have a big closet?" I said, "I have a humongous closet because these are old houses. They have wall closets. There are that you can live in them." And then she replied, "Well, then I hope you know what to pick every morning." Yeah, that's another thing. Keeping everything moving and wearing not always the same. I will often grab something I wear often because it just is so nice. It's really cold this week, and then I just grab a warm vest. Also drops charisma, and that is just can put my hands in, and yeah, just love that. All right, the test knit for Annie Johanna. It will be for my son. I had hand-dyed yarn. I dyed in the past. It was a light DK weight, and the colors did not come out as I planned. Um, that happens if you just start out, and it still happens if you dye for many years. I'm sure it doesn't always turn out as good as you want to. My son really likes army green, and he likes blue, he likes purple. So I overdyed a few skeins because I had single skeins of all of them. There were 150 gram skeins, and that's just not enough. So I had 2 green and 2 blue in the end. They both were overdyed and turned out in the color they are right now. Let me see. The light is fading. That's not good. I can put on the light here. Does a little bit. I can see that. So let me try this. Yes, that's better. So green and blue is blowing out now, but at least you can see the difference. The blue is pulling. I don't really like that, but I know on screen it is always much more visible than in real life. So she has the wonderful folded collar in a very special way. You don't have to seam it, so it is that's something definitely always if you learn something new, it's wonderful. It has the raglan increases with a little yarn over. I don't think you can see that, but that's okay. For a man, that is not such a detail you want to see, but it was definitely fun. There's a one little small yarn over in the middle of the, I don't think you can see it. It doesn't even matter. The short rows are amazing how she writes this down. So this is the back. If you look at the blue, it's quite long. At the front, it is short and really wonderful. He already tried it on. It was good so far. So he is a tall young man, and I'm looking forward to making the sleeves as long as he needs them. So that will be great. He is always like me. We have very long arms, and a store-bought. He is small and tall and with long arms, and if you buy something, it is always too short or it's way too wide, because then you have to, if you want to have long arms, long sleeves, you have to buy a bigger size, and then it becomes a tent for him. So let me see. So this is due only in June, so I have plenty of time. But this I like to take this along. It is 4 millimeter. Even with glasses, it seems to be difficult. 4 millimeter. So this is a very nice and mindless knit right now. Yeah, there's nothing exciting happening, but that is wonderful because I have plenty of exciting things I need to concentrate on. Yep. Wonderful. And the stripes are also always engaging. I really like that. Now the dog is having his own party down there, apparently. Good. That I don't think it has a name yet. So that was the test knit from Anna Johanna. Then I am test knitting 2 more things. And I have something I came up with myself. This is a test knitted tee by Victoria Chaplini. Chaplin. I don't know. Names are a thing, right? I knitted definitely one sweater of hers. That was an in Drops burst alpaca silk. It was a bottom up, and this one is a wonderful tee. And I briefly said about the cables in the raglan, which I messed up in the first go. But that's definitely the focus point on this tee. And I made it quite far. This will be a short sleeve, and I am knitting this in Drops North. A 3mm needle seems to be giving it a really nice gauge. So yes, this is the color chestnut. I remember correctly, it's the number 22. So this is definitely a very different brown. It's more yellowish brown. So yeah, I was interested to see how that will look. It does not show up on my card actually, but I think this is a very warm brown. But maybe the color intensity is too high. That's why it was not on my card for color, my color analysis scheme card. I don't know how you even say that, but you get cards which show the colors which will look the best on you. This one was not on there, so I only assume it might be a bit too strong. We will see. It is what it is. I had the yarn and I wanted to use this for this project. Short sleeves will be done very quickly. I only assume there will be a tiny little bit of knitting or only ribbing. Usually that's how that goes. And I need a little bit to work a little bit more on the body. So yeah, wonderful, lovely. I just thought it was a nice thing to test and to wear for sure. Will also be a kind of a, I mean, it was designed for cotton yarn, but I don't have much cotton, and the cotton I have is the Drops Bell, which is a mix, but it is much thicker, and this needed fingering weight. I had a little bit of that, but it was totally way too bright color, so I thought I'd rather knit in something I can wear, so I can definitely use this as a layering piece, because I think wearing it as a t-shirt with alpaca is kind of a warm thing. So I was not quite sure if this was the right decision. In the end, I might even think that I make it long sleeves, but I will do it after the test is over. That only seems logical. I am in the middle of a row. I'm realizing that because there were bubbles, and this is a non-starchy yarn. And yesterday I had a horrible pain in my arms and my shoulders, and this was just too much. So I just only did a bubble every so many times. The rest was just slow, easy knitting. But I think I can show this. There are no secrets here. But you can see how beautiful this is. The rosebud. It really looks like rosebuds. It's absolutely lovely. So this is the last row of rosebuds. See, and this is a really nice cream yarn. So there are 3 rows, and there's more going on in the yoke. And then there is plain body. There is buttons all the way down, but you can also choose to only put on 3 or how many. Um, yeah, short sleeve or 3/4 sleeve. I will go for the short sleeve because 3/4, I don't know. It seems to be not. I'm always confused when to wear that because I don't know. Like I said, I'm confused when I'm supposed to wear that. I rather use something short or long, and in between it's just I don't know. Then I feel like I'm missing something, but that maybe I can still change my mind, and it might be nice for a cooler evening and you want to throw it over something. I don't know. I think I will wear it mostly over a long sleeve tee because I really like wearing that. And then I think it will be more comfortable if there are short sleeves. But I'm just thinking out loud. Again, Drops Bell, wonderful yarn. very affordable, and it knits up really nicely. Yeah, it is like a substitute for the tin line from, is that Sandnes? No, I don't know. I have never used it. This is, I know this is exactly the same composition. It is just has less colors, which, yeah, it is what it is. So another test knit, the rosebud top. If you want to test it for her, the test will be finished in, I don't know, but apparently it is in April. But since it's a short sleeve, and if you have some time, you can definitely apply for it. She is on Ravelry in the testing pool and on a Yarn Pond. If you are familiar with that, you can also subscribe to this beautiful test. There are many spots open, and it's a wonderful, wonderful pattern. So I am to the last section now, and it is totally different. I had my birthday. I did not want to go out because of my health issues, but I wanted to do something totally different to make it something different, right? Because I'm usually on my own, but you can still do many fun things even if you're on your own. Seems to be the smartest thing at the moment with all the flu going on and my very low and damaged immune system. So I have a knitting machine, and if you're a long time viewer, you must have seen it. I do not talk about it a lot, but I was inspired by podcasters who do the same. And maybe I should talk a little bit about, I don't know, maybe I will do that in another podcast. I have been doing a little bit of yarn dyeing with avocado, with tea, and something else. And I've been filming it about that, but this is dyed with avocado, and it is super simple. You don't need anything poisonous or anything. Avocado gives you everything, even to make the color water fast. It's all in the avocado peel and pit. So it is the most simple thing you can imagine. So it gives a brownish pink, which I really like. I've been dyeing up more. I made a swatch on my knitting machine because that's what I was talking about. I picked out my knitting machine. It had to be cleaned. It was in the garage since we moved here, which is not a good place because there's electronics in my knitting machine. It is a computerized old machine from the 80s, a brother. And I had this before. As soon as I plugged it into the electric socket, smoke came out, and I thought, now it probably died. And I pulled it out, and the smoke was kept coming out, but it smelled like burned dust or something. I had it before. There was nothing going on. And then my son very kindly said, Mum, you better wait until I'm home because you never know what's going to happen. So I waited till the next day, and I cleaned it. It was very dirty because it was in a humid environment, which was not a good plan, but hey, we never came around to it. So it's in my living room right now, and I am happily experimenting, and it is always again and again a learning curve, but I think I got it quite right now. So this is the gauge swatch I made, and yeah, there's always a problem with doing too much, and because of my health issues, my arthritis, they damaged uh, all my joints, the words. And if you move a knitting machine, it is not like it's heavy work, but it definitely is the movement constantly, which was not so good for everything that was going on with me. So I have an electric, the KG for 93, which is it goes on its own. It's called the snail because it goes so slow. But that takes forever. So I had to find a balance between doing too much and doing, I don't know. It's if you know a knitting machine, I'm sure you know what I mean. I made a sweater. You can do that in a day. You can do it in a few hours, but I should take rest in between. which I did not do for the first one because I was very enthusiastic and all went well. And I tried it on. I made a gauge swatch, everything else. I took the measurements I use for my hand knitting, but this is totally different. This is much tighter gauge. Even in the loosest setting, the stitches are so much smaller. There is less stretch because it is a very tight fabric. It's also, of course, based on the yarn you use, but nevertheless, I thought it was way too tight. So I ripped it all out and started over. And that's what you do with a knitting machine because it goes in no time and it is a little bit of experimenting. So what so far I got, and I'm stopped because my test knits, but there's almost a finished sweater and I already had the idea what I wanted to do. I wanted to knit a basic sweater, a plain sweater, and I wanted the bottom to be lace. And then I thought, okay, I will do the bottom by hand. And I knew the Tegna sweater by Caitlin Hunter was on my list very long, for a very long time, as soon as it came out. But I don't like the drop shoulders. I don't think it looks good on me. And just, no, I just don't like that. So I always thought, okay, I'll buy the pattern because the lace etching is wonderful, beautiful. Very different of everything I have ever seen. So I always imagined, okay, I will make a hybrid sweater. And then I knit the bottom from her and the top from somebody else. But now this came along and they actually call it hybrid sweaters. I have looked at many tutorials because colourwork yoke on a knitting machine, that is a whole different story because you don't have enough stitches. You cannot knit in the round, at least not on a flatbed machine. It will take a lot of effort doing the decreases. You have to rehang all the stitches. So what many people do, and I did it in the past, you knit the yoke by hand and then you transfer the stitches on the knitting machine. You knit the front separately, the back separately, and the sleeves you knit flat and you have to seam. If you don't like seaming, you're so out of luck. So this is how far I got. And it's all crinkly because it has been squished up somewhere. But it is actually completely finished. So I did a whole a sleeve without decreases. Then I did the immense amount of rehanging the stitches to decrease a lot. And this part is knitted with the automatic knitting machine, which can do knits and purls, which is wonderful. And then I did a tubular bind off by hand. And I sewed it like this because now I suddenly see there is a big stripe here. Oh, I don't like that, but it is what it is. I just see this then as a prototype, but it's a very wearable prototype, right? Yeah, that's the color change between the yarns. And because I frogged one sweater, all the yarns got mixed up, which was not a problem, but you cannot knit one row in the one and one row in the other. That just is not a thing on a knitting machine. That is constantly changing out your yarn, which is a humongous amount of work. Also, what I don't really like is this line. You see what I mean? So I don't know how I can do what I can do to fix it, but I rehanged. I mean, I knit the front and the back in one piece. So I did bind offs for the neck opening, and that is still a little bit of waste yarn, what I will unravel. So I will pick up and knit by hand. And then you have a flat piece, and then you rehang those side seams on the knitting machine, and then you start knitting the sleeves flat. So this I seamed by hand with the mattress stitch, which I never seem to master, but I did this time. And there are very nice YouTube videos on people knitting with a knitting machine, and I learned so much because when I used it, that was just not a thing. There was so little to be found. It's very important to steam your work so everything lays flat. You see how this keeps going? Everything lays flat and then it's very easy to do the mattress stitch. So yeah, I tried it on. It fits really nicely now, except from that colored part, but that you can just see it as a design element because it's not pooling. It's just a lighter or a darker. I can't even remember. I'm sure you've seen it. Yeah. See, there's a darker stripe here. So this is, I will put in a video here for you so you can see. And what I did is I frogged back until the length I thought it was good to start adding the lace. I probably have to do some decreases because hand knit gauge is very different from machine knit gauge. I don't want it to be way wide. It might flare a bit. That was not a problem. But I have to think about it. And I also have to think about what I want to do with this. I might just seam it on the inside so it will disappear in the raglan in the shaping of the shoulders. Then it will probably disappear. I think I tried it on a small part. I think that will be fine. I think I tried it here, and then the seam will be very smoothly. I can do that. But I want to learn how to do it, how to make it look neat, because if I have to re-seam it, redo it, then I might as well knit the sleeves separately and then seam them in. Huh? That is seems like the same amount of work. My cat is having fun with all the crinkly, tangly yarn ends. Yeah. So knitting machine adventures. That's what I've been doing. But if you apply to a test knit, you have to make sure you can finish it in time. So I have to prioritize that, and I definitely will. And I very much enjoy that. So all good. And I'm using a mustache shine, which is even better. And like I said, if you look for those projects which you can use your leftovers, then I found a few. I think they're wonderful, and I hope you enjoy that too. So I am very happy I was here with you today. And like I said, there were my boys both were sick for 2 weeks. It was the flu was quite heavy this time. Uh, I did not get it as it was supposed to be. I was cold, very cold. I haven't been this cold the whole winter, but it seems like my thermostat was very off at the moment, and that's fine. I'm doing well, and the sun really makes a difference to my whole feelings and my energy levels, which is good. Yeah, what else can I say? I just I just keep on knitting, and I will see you soon. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you got inspired. If you got any comments or suggestions, I would love to hear it. If you have any suggestions how I can fix this, but that's probably a problem we all have. Knitting machine. Do you have one? Do you ever tried it? I know people say, "Oh, my mom had one in the past in the 80s. They were very popular." Yeah, I've done a lot of knitting on them. Unfortunately, in that period, I did not make any pictures of my knitted garment, and my children were little. They had a lot of machine knitted items, and I also did intarsia, which is it is a nice thing on the knitting machine. It is time consumed, but yeah, you can really do it well. And my younger son was a very big fan of Winnie the Pooh, so he had got them in all kinds of shapes and forms on his sweaters. Yeah, it was really fun. So I hope you're all doing well. Please leave me a comment if you want to share where you're from or where you're working on, or any other things that you want to share is all welcome. And I hope to see you next time. And I'm sure I will be here sooner rather than later. So enjoy your knitting and have a wonderful spring wherever you are. Bye bye.